You are a North Korean, and fear is already part of your daily life, even if no one names it. You wake up in a small apartment where nothing feels truly private. You learn early that walls are not just walls. Voices are kept low. Movements are careful. Adults think before they speak, and you copy them without being told. You are taught rules before you understand reasons: how to stand, where to look, when to stay quiet. When visitors come, the mood changes instantly. Smiles appear, but they feel stiff and forced. At home, certain things must always look perfect. Objects on the wall are treated with more care than furniture. You don't ask why. You just know that mistakes here are different from mistakes anywhere else. Outside, you watch adults avoid attention. No one wants to be noticed for the wrong reason. You feel it in the way people walk, the way they avoid eye contact, the way conversations suddenly stop. Fear doesn't come from one moment. It grows slowly, quietly, until it feels normal. And once fear feels normal, it becomes part of who you are. You are a student, and every day follows a strict pattern that never changes. You arrive at school early, standing in lines before anyone speaks. You know where to stand and how to hold your body. Looking tired is noticed. Looking distracted is remembered. Teachers don't only teach lessons. They watch how you behave. Classes are filled with repetition. You copy sentences. You repeat answers together with everyone else. Thinking differently is not encouraged. It slows things down. It creates questions. Hunger follows you through the day. Meals are small and never enough, but no one complains. You learn to eat slowly, to make the feeling last. Some students look weak. Some struggle to stay awake. No one explains why this is normal. Control is quiet. It doesn't shout. It works through routine. You learn when to speak and when to stay silent. You learn that being invisible is safer than being smart. By the end of the day, you are exhausted. Not from learning, but from constant attention. School teaches you one main lesson: obedience keeps you safe.
Don't move! You are being loud!
You are still a student when you understand that fear is sometimes taught in public. One morning, classes are canceled. Everyone is ordered outside. Teachers, students, workers from nearby buildings. You don't know the reason, but you know it's serious because no one talks on the way there. A man stands alone in front of the crowd. Soldiers are nearby. An official reads a statement about betrayal, about disloyal behavior, about harming the state. The words feel distant, but the meaning is clear. This is a warning. You are told to watch.
Watch! Don't look away! Keep your eyes up! Looking away would be noticed.
When it ends, the crowd reacts exactly as expected. Some clap. Others stand still. You follow what the teachers do. Your hands move, even though your head feels empty. Afterward, no one discusses it. Not at school, not at home. The event disappears from conversation as if it never happened. A few days later, a familiar face is missing from class. A desk stays empty. The teacher doesn't explain. Students stop asking questions before the question even forms. You learn something important then. Silence is not just safer than speaking. Silence is required. And once you accept that, life becomes quieter, but much heavier. You are a teenager when something small changes the way you see everything. It doesn't happen at school. It doesn't happen outside. It happens quietly, late at night, when the house is dark and everyone thinks no one is watching. Someone you trust shows you something they shouldn't have. A screen, a sound, images from another place. At first, you don't understand what you're seeing. Nothing dramatic happens. No soldiers, no shouting. Just normal life. People walking where they want, choosing food, laughing without checking who is listening. They complain openly. They disagree. And nothing happens to them. That's what feels dangerous. After that night, the official stories don't disappear, but they feel weaker. You still repeat them. You still act the same. But inside, a quiet comparison begins. If this world is perfect, why is it hidden? If this other place is evil, why does it look so free? You don't say these thoughts out loud. You don't even fully admit them to yourself. But the crack is there now. And once something cracks, it never fully closes again. You are not planning anything yet. At first, escape feels like a dangerous fantasy, not a real option. The thought appears quietly. It shows up when you're alone, when the house is dark, when the noise outside finally stops for a moment. You imagine what it would be like to leave everything behind. Then you immediately push the thought away. Thinking like that is risky. But the idea keeps coming back. You hear small rumors. Someone knows someone who crossed the border.
It's possible.
Someone else says
Escape.
people disappear trying. No one knows the full story. Fear and hope mix together until you can't separate them. You look at your parents and feel the weight of responsibility. Leaving wouldn't just affect you. It would destroy their lives too. That thought hurts more than fear. Still, staying feels like slowly disappearing. You begin to notice the border on maps. Rivers that once meant nothing now feel important. You catch yourself listening more closely when people talk about nearby regions. You don't say, "I will escape." You say, "What if?" And that question refuses to leave you alone. You are standing near the border at night, and everything feels unreal. The river is quiet, wide, and dark. In daylight, it looks ordinary. At night, it feels like a line between two different lives. You've thought about this moment so many times that now, standing here, your mind feels empty. You listen for sounds. Wind, water, distant movement. Every noise feels too loud. You know guards patrol this area. You know one mistake is enough. There is no dramatic speech, no countdown, just a moment where you either move forward or stay forever. You step onto the ground near the water. Your heart beats so hard, you're afraid it can be heard. The cold reaches your legs. Each step feels slower than the last, even though you're trying to move fast. Halfway across, panic hits. You want to turn back, but you don't. You keep going because stopping now would mean everything you feared was for nothing. When your feet finally touch the other side, you don't feel relief. You feel shock. You crossed something that cannot be uncrossed. Behind you is the life you knew. Ahead of you is uncertainty. And for the first time, the fear you feel is mixed with something new. Possibility. You are in a place that feels safer, but not safe. China is not freedom. It is movement without stability. You learn quickly that you must stay hidden. You avoid police. You avoid attention. You avoid being remembered. You move often. One room, then another. Different people, different rules. You don't stay long enough to relax. At night, you sleep lightly, ready to wake up if someone knocks. You hear stories from others like you. Some were caught and sent back. Some were sold. Some disappeared along the way. Everyone knows someone who didn't make it. The journey continues south. Buses, walking, waiting. Borders that feel endless. You travel without knowing exactly where you are, only where you must not return. Food is irregular. Water is limited. Your body weakens, but stopping is not an option. You tell yourself to focus on the next hour, not the next country. You understand something clearly now. Leaving North Korea was only the first step. Freedom is far away, and the road to it is longer than you imagined. You are finally in a place you were told was impossible. South Korea doesn't feel real at first. Everything moves too fast. Lights stay on all night. People walk while looking at small screens in their hands. No one seems afraid of being watched. The first shock is noise, cars, voices, music everywhere. The second shock is choice. You are asked what you want to eat, what you want to wear, what you want to do next. Simple questions that make your mind freeze. You are taken to classes meant to help you adjust. They teach you how banks work, how phones work, how to speak freely. They tell you that criticizing the government is allowed. You nod, but inside, you wait for consequences that never come. At night, you struggle to sleep. Silence feels suspicious. You replay old habits in your head, checking doors, listening for footsteps, apologizing automatically. Freedom feels heavy. It doesn't feel like happiness yet. It feels like standing in a wide open space after spending your whole life in a narrow room, and you don't know where to step first. You are safe now, but your mind hasn't caught up. Memories return without warning. A sound, a smell, a sentence someone says the wrong way. Your body reacts before you understand why. You wake up at night, convinced something is wrong. Guilt follows you everywhere. You think about the people you left behind, your family, friends. You wonder what happened to them after you disappeared. You replay old conversations, searching for signs you missed. Sometimes you try to get information. Messages move slowly, carefully, through people you don't fully trust. When answers come back, they are incomplete, vague, heavy. You learn to stop asking too much. You begin to speak about your past, first quietly, then more openly. Some people listen with sympathy, others doubt you. A few tell you to move on. Then come the warnings, strange messages, indirect threats, reminders that distance doesn't always mean safety. You realize the fear didn't stay behind at the border. Still, you keep going, because staying silent feels worse than being afraid. You are no longer running, but the journey isn't over. You think about what it all means now. The fear, the hunger, the silence, the road that took you away from everything you knew. None of it feels heroic. It just feels real. People sometimes ask if it was worth it. They expect a clear answer, yes or no. You hesitate because the truth is heavier than that. You lost people. You carry guilt that doesn't fade. You live with memories that don't disappear just because you crossed a border. Freedom didn't erase the past. It only gave you space to face it. But you also gained something you never had before. You can think without fear. You can speak without checking who is listening. You can choose what kind of life you want to build. You understand now that your story isn't just yours. It belongs to everyone who couldn't leave. Everyone who is still quiet, still careful, still afraid. So you keep telling it. Not because it's easy, not because it's comfortable, but because silence is exactly what that system depends on. And as long as you can speak, you refuse to give it that power.